Hey everybody, welcome, and this is my wife Brenda.
Hi.
And so I had asked her, I said, hey, would you do this with me this morning? And so she graciously said yes, but she knows me. I like to horse around and all of that. I told her I would be good though, if you can believe that. But we are on the way to do a meeting in South Oklahoma, and so this will be brief, but I had a thought the other day, and I shared it with Brenda, that, you know, when you get married, it can be hell changing your name, can it?
It's hard, babe.
Yeah, hard.
It's hard. There's a lot of work to it.
Yeah,
a lot of work.
A lot of work. And now, as a guy, you know, I live and I have never had to change my name. But Brenda's having to change hers. And if you can handle the hell, you can enjoy the heaven. But changing your name is not overnight, is it?
No, it takes a lot of patience.
Talk up a little bit, babe.
It takes a lot of patience. Step one was going to the Social Security office and waiting 3 hours for my number to be called up, having your correct documentation, and so getting that Social Security number and getting my name changed on my Social Security card. So through the government, my name has now been changed, but it was not easy. It was not.
So you have been seated in the heavenly place. Hey, listen, this,
like I said, that was step one. There's many more steps to go through.
And so after you got and the reason we're talking about this is for this purpose. Many people just exist in life, but then there are those people that really learn how to live life. And the question is, are you just existing or are you living? Because if you're existing, you do what you have to do just to get by. But when you start living, there are some sacrifices, but you see the end goal. And existing really just refers to being alive, or to be, how do I say it in the most simple terms? It can be described as doing just what is necessary to stay alive. And existing is the opposite. It means, or that living life is the total opposite of just existing in life, because living means you enjoy your life and you actually just savor every moment of it. The Apostle Paul, he stopped existing and started living on the road to Damascus. He was doing what was necessary according to the teaching of the law up until his encounter with the Spirit of God on the road to Damascus. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, what did God do? It was a name change. That's where this message comes from, is when you realize my allegiance is somewhere else, I'm needing to change my identity. And see, there's a lot of, and I've always said this, there are believers and there are Christians.
Right.
Believers never went through the process of changing their identity to say, I am the fullness of the Godhead bodily on the earth. Christians believe. Believers pray for a miracle. Christians declare the miracle. Okay? And so if you're really okay with going through the hell of changing your mind, you can move from existing to living. And I hope they're getting this. But as a male, I have never, and you all know, I was previously married. Brenda was previously married. We were previously married. I'll leave it at that. But I never had to change my name, because here's the spiritual pretense. And I told Brenda, I said, this is what I'd like our conversation to be. You tell the natural side, because
Right.
you have to go through it. But the spiritual side is this, and I like to always bring the metaphorical understanding that in the scripture, the male is the spirit. The female is the mind. Where did the serpent go when it came into the garden? To the woman. Because the enemy cannot affect your nature until you begin to think differently. And so the male is the pneuma in the Hebrew. The female is the suke. And so the pneuma never changed. I've always had the Spirit of God. Always had the Spirit of God. But it's the woman that has to change her identity.
Right.
It is the suke that has to change the identity. And
So like at my work right now, they've always known me by my previous name, and so everybody is getting used to my new last name. It's a change, and it's a process.
oh yeah.
But we're going through.
Oh, you know it. You know it.
We're going
and
through.
it is a process, because it's when people have only known you one way for so long, it's hard for them to get it out of their minds. But I don't live my life if I let what everybody thought about me. Oh, Mark Shell went through a divorce. Well, you don't know the issues behind it. Oh, Mark Shell got remarried. Because you know what? I am determined and hell-bent. I will not just exist. I'm going to live, and
That's why God put us on earth.
He put us on earth to live.
To enjoy life.
Indeed.
Enjoy life. To show others that God's goodness, how good He is to us. And it's not a trial, it's not a tribulation every day, but to get up, enjoy life, laugh, have fun. Of course, we're going to go through things as Christians, but with God and Christ in me, I can do it, because that's my identity. That's my identity, is when I accepted Christ into my heart, I'm now a queen. I am a princess, whatever you want to say, because I am part of God's family. That is my identity. So all of His great things are mine. That is my identity. I changed my name.
Exactly.
I am one of God's daughters.
You know it. Isn't that awesome?
It is. My health, my finances, my job, my family, our family, it's God's, because we had a name change. We had a heart change. We had a mind change. We belong to God.
Oh, I know.
It's exciting.
It's totally exciting. Now, I like to study clinical studies in the psychological realm of why women don't want to change their names a lot of time. And the top reasons were, number one, it's because they felt like they would lose their personal identity.
It's true. It's true.
You know?
When you have this name, this last name, whether it's a maiden name, a marriage name, it's hard, because that's how you identify. This is, your last name. And it's hard for women.
But if you can handle the hell, you'll love the heaven.
Yeah,
You know it.
Exactly.
But another reason is they don't want to give up the ownership of their accomplishments. Because if you take on somebody else's name, they think, well, I will no longer get any credit. And, there's a lot of things that go through the fear of the mind. And I'm not the female. You are. And I know you... it's not that you didn't want to change your name, but I know a lot of people, they understand, oh my God, look at all the work it's going to take to change my identity. And that's the other fear they have of not changing the name, is they don't want to lose their personal identity. Now, what's this? Jesus said, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father.
Right.
Jesus, Yahushua, in the original, that was his Son of Man name. Christ was his Son of God name. They were married, so he never lost his personal identity.
No.
He was just known as God. You
Right.
are known as Shell.
Right.
Other people's going to learn it, but you're still learning it. Because I'll guarantee you, after we got married, how many times did you were signing a document and almost signed your other name?
Right.
How many
Right.
times? That's normal.
It's normal.
It's normal.
normal.
And so if you mess up when things are going wrong and you say something you shouldn't, or you have an attitude you shouldn't have, hey, you're learning how to re-identify.
It's also, Mark, a training of the mind.
Oh.
Because if I have Christ in me and I say I'm part of, God's family, then when I'm looking at situations, it's all up here in my mind. When I'm looking at my finances, or when I'm looking at a health situation, my identity is I have God's blood in me. I am part of God's family, and so nothing can separate me. It's like you're saying, it's all in the mind. It's a training of our minds.
Right. We are seated in the Godhead because we're married to Jesus. We are the bride of Christ. And so the struggle of changing, and I know, well, why do we need to change the name? Well, legally, because the government recognizes
The
the
legal
last
part.
name, the Social Security.
Mm-hmm.
And then, now, you saw the process, and I was ignorant of this because I've never been a female. You had to do Social Security first.
My Social
before
Security.
driver's license.
Yes, because I called down to the License Bureau, the DMV, and they're like, these are the steps that I have to take. Number one, my Social Security mark had to be taken care of first. After I get my Social Security card, and I've got my name change on that, then I went down to the DMV, and it's my driver's license. That went pretty smooth. Had my documentation, had to just sit. Step 3 that I will be working on is my my visa for traveling. My
Right.
old visa has my old name, so I can't go out of the country now because my license and my passport, they don't match. I've got to take care of that. That is the next step.
Right.
It's going to be a hassle, but I'm going to go through it.
Well, and see, now that's in the natural. That's the reason
That's right.
That's the reason I say, if you can handle the hell, you can enjoy the heaven. Because that's in the natural, but in the spiritual realm, getting your Social Security card changed in the natural is accepting your governmental authority as a diplomat of the Most High God. You are an ambassador of Christ. And so you accept that, and then you can move into the locality of the driver's license. So the Social Security card gives you authority in the heavenly places. The driver's license gives you authority in the earthly places. So we have authority both in heaven and earth because we have accepted the name change. Many people say, oh, I accept Jesus as my Savior, but they've never changed their identity.
And when you accept Jesus as your Savior, everything in your life has now changed. But then you have to stop and ask yourself, the perks of the identity change, being part of
There's
God,
perks, baby.
the perks, yeah. works. My health, when I'm, facing a situation, God's blood has me covered. I speak to it. I pray over it. It is done. You're going through a relationship issue. You're going through a work issue. You're going through a health issue. When you have God inside of you, I accepted Christ. As a young girl, it changed my whole identity.
Yeah.
It changed my life. Do I just accept him and then just say, okay, I'm going to try to live here on earth? No. He's created this earth for us to enjoy and to show other people. When you are a member of God's family, the perks are endless.
Oh, you know it.
But it's not going to be a bed of roses. You're going to go through things, and I believe we go through things to help other people.
Yeah.
That's why we're here on earth, is to serve people and to show them God's goodness. And my identity is I do belong to the body of Christ.
That
is my identity. I belong to the body of Christ.
Yeah. And
not going back.
You had to learn that. And we all need to. It's not an overnight process.
No.
How many people called Saul Saul when he was really Paul? But because he identified differently, they become to call him Paul. And so it's not overnight. It absolutely is not overnight.
A lot of my good friends, they still go by my, they'll holler out at me. That's what we do at work. I'm a teacher, and they shout out, and the students, they're getting, used to my new last name, my principal, my administration. But it's exciting. It's exciting. You can't get frustrated, just like when going back to the spiritual side is if something's not working. Well, I prayed about it. God heard it. And God heard your prayer, and the angels are working on behalf of you. You've just got to know you're going to go through it, and you're going to get through it, just like me sitting for 3 hours. And I know I keep bringing that up, but that's how long it took. I had to sit for 3 hours.
You had to handle the hill.
I had to sit for 3 hours in the Social Security office. Haven't done that one in a long time. But I was determined. I'm going through it.
Yeah.
I'm going through it. I'm going to get this piece of documentation.
Now, here's something I just thought of. It was almost a happy event. Now, correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
I'm sure it was an exciting event when you changed your birth name, maiden name,
right,
to the next name. It was probably exciting.
Yes.
Okay?
Right.
But this time around, it's like, oh my God, I've got so much history in that old name. It's a process to get through it. And let me tell you something. We were born as one with God in the garden, and then we lost our mind.
Right.
We lost our mind. But in Romans 7, the word says that he died as the old man so we could be married as the bride, and it's not adultery because the old man is dead. But in your mind, you're thinking, oh my God, I know how long it took me to learn I had diabetes. I know how long it took me to learn I had cancer. I know how long it took me to learn I live in poverty. I just get by from paycheck to paycheck. I've been in that realm. How in the world? I don't think I can. It would be a living hell to try to change my mind to think I'm prosperous, I'm healed, right. I'm blessed.
And I think sometimes, when before you become part of God's family and have that identity change, people know you as one person. They maybe know you as, in small towns, you might be the town drunk. And excuse me, I don't mean to offend anybody, or you're the town person who's always walking on the streets, or that's what they identify you as.
Right.
And when you become part of God's family, that identity has changed.
It has.
It has changed.
And it changes here first before it changes there.
It's right in here.
It is.
The battle is in the mind. That's what
is.
they say. Dad used to say that the battle is right here, Brenda. And it is in everything that we do. And if you can just get a hold of it and conquer your mind.
You know it. And speaking of your dad.
Here's a little verse. This verse, I say it over and over and over again. Ready?
I'm ready.
For God has not given me a spirit of fear, but of love and power and a sound mind.
That's it.
So when I'm going through my identity, you know, the name change, I have a sound mind, whether it's in the natural, whether it's in the spiritual.
Yeah. But once you get to that place,
yeah,
it's hard to I broke the poverty curse thinking years ago, and people that are around me, well, that Mark Shell, he's rich. I'm not rich. I just know how to rule in the kingdom with seed time harvest. And I teach that to everybody. And I see the struggles of changing. And I remember years ago, as a matter of fact, y'all don't know the history, but Brenda's mom and dad were pastors, and I ministered for them probably 32 years ago, something like that.
Yes, Bill and Mary Fitzer.
Yes.
Introduced you.
Yep.
To them.
Bill and Mary was my youth leaders when I was a young, innocent kid. Well, we'll go with that. And what are you laughing about?
Oh,
but,
that's funny.
You know, and I had met Brenda back then. Neither one of us was married. We were
right.
kids. We went our separate ways. But I saw the positivity of your dad. And way back then, I was just coming into the word of faith. He already had a grasp on it. And he would challenge me with things he was telling me. And of course, with his age, and I was the younger, back then, the young respected the elders. It's not this dope smoking society now. But I learned from him, and it sowed seeds in me. Way back then, I started changing my name. You know, I accepted the marriage he offered me back in 1976. I was married to him, but it took me almost 35 years to change my mind to be where I am now. And you may be thinking, well, Mark, oh my God, I'm too old to change my mind. You're never too old to start living happy.
No.
Are
never.
you, Mama?
No. That's right, Papa. And I had this thought while we were sitting here. You know, changing of the mind, and when you're part of Christ's body, there's God, just his goodness. It is so good. But I want to share this, and you know. So I got the Social Security card, and it came quicker than what I thought, but I was teaching summer school, and in all of my craziness, busyness, I misplaced the Social Security card. So it was the day I was going down to the DMV, the exact same day. And I had it when I was there in the morning, but there was I had a piece of documentation I had to go back to the house and get. Somehow I misplaced the new Social Security card. Keep in mind, 3 hours.
That.
I was like, oh my
Wait
Lord.
for it. Wait for it.
Wait for it. And so the battle was in the mind. I was like, where is it? Where is it? And I can remember. I didn't start panicking, but I said, God, you know what I have waded through at the Social Security office. You know I have got to have that Social Security card. My next step, number 2, going to the DMV. I looked and I finally I turned loose of it in my mind. As ladies, men, just not ladies, men, we misplace things. You misplace your keys, you misplace your phone, and it can make you crazy. And I remember I just said, God, I speak over it, I'm going to find it. And I turned loose of it. I kept going. I just went about my business. I found the Social Security card. That is a benefit of having a life change, a name change. God, He knew I needed that card.
Oh, yeah.
And that's part of it. That's a perks in the mind. I am not going to let, Mark, when situations are not going how I think they are supposed to be. In the scenes, behind the scenes, God is always working.
Oh, yeah.
That's part of having a name change. I am one of God's family members. And with my name change, my life change, all situations. Sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes it's not going to be an instant change.
Right.
But He is there. It's part of the benefits.
It is. And so we have the heavenly authority because we've got the Social Security card change naturally.
Right.
We have the earthly authority because we have a license to reveal Him in the earth. You are qualified now to speak for God. You can speak for me.
Right.
Yeah. You don't have to go to the bank and say, hey, Mark told me I could every
Right.
time.
Or the
You
other
just
day,
sign my name.
We were eating dinner, and you got up and you excused yourself to go to the baño, and you're like, just sign my name.
Yeah. That's
Just
it.
sign my name. And that's what I did.
That's it. So did you have to wait on me to get out of the bathroom and say, is it okay if I sign your name?
No.
I already told you to do it.
I just do it.
So why do people keep praying, God, I'm asking you to heal me? He said, I gave you permission. Declare you're healed.
It's done.
Live like you're healed.
It's done.
And I know it's not overnight to think that way, but you have the right in the heavens. You have the right in the earth. You've got a pension plan in this new family where it's seed time and harvest. You don't pray, God, I'm believing you're going to meet the need. You pray, Father, what's my seed? He gives seed to the sower. You sow the seed. You water it with your thanksgiving and walk off from it. Don't dig it. Every time you pray about the same problem, you're digging up the seed. Why aren't you growing? No. Now, I've watched you plant flowers and do all of that.
Yeah.
And you are a great horticulturist. It's awesome. They're beautiful. You and your mom both. But I've watched you. There'll be a plant. There was a plant back there. I thought, you want to chunk that? No, I think I can bring it back to life. She didn't replant it. She just kept on watering it. Why are you still asking for the same thing? You've got to trust the seed. So you have that pension plan with God. And I hope you guys are getting this. I do. And I'm so appreciative of you doing this with me.
Yes.
But you have insurance in this new family. You married up. I married up, and she married way, way down in Alabama, where they love Nick Saban. I'm sorry. You might as well have, and I'm sure Facebook say that's copyright infringement. Oh, well. So, anyway, we have this insurance benefit that by His stripes we are healed. You're covered. You are covered. And so
the insurance was already paid.
It was.
It's done.
I married.
It's just like when you're in your car, you have insurance. Insurance like with your phones. Anything that we need insurance,
Yeah.
It's already taken care of. You just pick up your phone and call customer service. God, it's already paid.
That's it. Hey, when are you going to take care of this? It's all yours.
It's all yours. But it goes back to the battle is in the mind. You've got to renew your mind. For God has not given me a spirit of fear, but of love and power and a sound mind. And there is peace in my mind. So the insurance, it's done.
And there are some things, if not in the past, but in our future, you're going to say, hey, this one's on you. Take care of it. Because here's the thing. You didn't ask to marry me. I asked to marry you.
Correct.
We did not choose him. He chose us.
He chose us. He loves us.
We are the chosen.
We are the chosen, and we are so blessed and lucky. We are the chosen, and we are the chosen to show people God's goodness.
Yeah.
When you've got Social Security, driver's license, pension, insurance, and friends, all these benefits of when you are part of God's family and you have a name change.
You know it. We married up into spiritual authority where we have angels at our beck and command. We have health insurance, life insurance,
mental insurance,
yeah. And oh my God, but it's the name change.
Yeah.
That's the hell. But if you can handle renewing your mind, that's what the Apostle Paul called it.
Yeah.
Be renewed in the spirit of your mind. Your spirit in the Greek language and out of the English means to renew your mental disposition. Change the way you think. And psychology has affirmed if you stay steady at it, it can usually just take 4 to 6 weeks to change the way you think about something. So if you'll sit there for 3 hours, it'll change.
It'll change.
If you'll sit there, it may take you a while. It was frustrating, I'm sure.
Yes. Yes, it was.
And there's other things you still got to change.
Because I was like, I could have been doing this, I could have been doing this, I could have been doing this. But I was focused and I knew I'm going through. Just like if it's a health issue, if it's a financial situation, if it's a relationship, if it's a work. And as a mom, our kids, mamas, there's something in us that we always want the best for our kids, or maybe they're off track. God has given us the insurance. Our kids are going to be good.
Oh,
if you look at it
if
you look at it in the natural, you want to beat them to death. But it's part of being God's family. We know they're good. You speak over them, you pray over them, and thank God for praying mamas and praying grandmas and pleading the blood over our children.
That's it.
It's an insurance. His blood is the insurance.
It is. Remind the one you're married to. You didn't just marry me. When I married you, I married Zach too.
Yes. Yes. And I married Derek and Lexi and Parker and Cade.
Yeah.
We're a family. We're a unity.
So
there's no separation.
When God married us, he got my whole family, all my luggage, all my baggage, and just said, here, you can use me.
And he loves us.
Yeah.
He loves us. He loves us, Mark, and he wants the best for us if we'll just accept his love and the identity change.
Absolutely.
Friends might know you from like, oh, well, this used to be Mark. This used to be Brenda. It's an identity change.
Yeah.
It's a name change. We are part of God's family. We belong part of God's family.
You know it. Well, I guess we ought to head out of here. And as Doc Holliday said on Tombstone, you may go now.
Or Wyatt?
Yeah.
We are rolling.
We are rolling. Hey, guys, thanks for chiming in. Brenda, thank you for doing this with me, baby.
Yeah. It was a pleasure.
Well, you all, hey, send us your feedback, and we're able to travel and minister like this in person to people because of your support of the ministry. We are not beggars. We work, we sow seed, and I love the liberty to teach the truth and not be afraid how people are going to give in the offering where we're headed to. And you guys set us free to do that. So thank you so much. Go to markshellministries@gmail.com if you have any questions or comments. And if you have never partnered with the ministry, markshellministries.com. And just thank you so much for all that you do. I will see you guys next weekend at 9 o'clock Central. Y'all have a blessed day. And hey, just remember, it may be a little hell for a little while changing your mind, Oh,
Yeah.
but you'll enjoy the heaven.
Enjoy the ride.
Indeed. Y'all have a blessed day. We'll see you next week.